team.
No, it's voodoo.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, it's voodoo.
Remember when you asked me? I'll save this for the show.
Oh, save it for the show because we're not talking. Or whatever.
No, when you asked me if, I'll say it again, I don't care. Like, if the Pacers are good.
Yeah.
And like the old adage, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
I had that thought.
And they are lucky. And they're good. Like, you have to be good to capitalize on the luck, but God, are they lucky. Like, it's like literally a boogeyman went into the bodies of the Knicks and were like, please turn this over in the most ridiculous way. Please don't make any adjustment on Aaron Nesmith.
Did the boogeyman also jump into the bodies of the Bucks where it's like, please, just don't catch the basketball. Just watch it go between your legs.
There are evil spirits at work.
You know what, Cavs?
On behalf of the Pacers.
You don't need to get the rebound. Don't worry about it. Just don't box out. Let them get the rebound. They had a step back in your face, even though you were up 7 with 46 seconds left.
Exactly.
Ridiculous. What was the song?
Wrecking Ball.
Miley?
Miley. The Pacers came in like a wrecking ball.
Were they also naked?
No, they weren't. They were in those bright yellow uniforms.
Speaking of naked men.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, we hadn't talked about this. I've been meaning to bring this up.
Oh boy.
I cannot have my wife continue to see the Donovan Mitchell Skims commercial.
Oh.
We can't.
I get that.
I can't allow that. Shay, fine. Donovan, no.
You want to know why it works with Shea? I'd had this decision.
Why?
While watching him this week. Because if he wasn't a basketball player, he could be a model. And there's something so wildly, just like otherworldly about male models. Like they're very model-y, but it's not like, oh yeah, I could like meet that guy out and about and find him, attainable in some sort of way. Like,
okay.
Shea has a perfect bone structure. I'm doing my best to appreciate Shea Gilgeous-Alexander more.
Down to the bone
because
structure.
He shouted out his wife and he cried about it. And I was like, ooh, wife guy, I'm supposed to like you.
Okay.
I'm supposed to like you.
All
after
right.
he won MVP. Finally.
Well, it did take him a while.
Finally.
It's not as bad as the Black College Football Player of the Year award. The season ends in December, and we don't find that out until mid-February.
Really?
Almost late February. Yeah, it ends the first week of December, and we don't find out who wins that.
Do they wait till the end of the February month?
It's near the end of February.
Wow. What's up, everybody? It is Thursday. May 22nd. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, I am still not over that game as the Pacers beat the Knicks at Madison Square Garden last night. One of the wildest comebacks we have ever seen, but just another game for the Indiana Pacers this postseason. We will get into the choke of it all. Teresa Walker will join us. We'll talk to her about the Tush push living to see another day, the death of Colts owner Jim Irsay, and another proposed attempt from the SEC and other conferences to regulate the new landscape of revenue sharing in college sports. We will look ahead to Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finally named MVP, plus we had some WNBA action last night. We are simply not talking enough about the start to the season that Nafisa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx are having. We'll end with some Theater Thursday movie news from the week. It's a Thursday. You know what we say.
Did he not get in trouble for doing that? I thought you couldn't do any sort of gestures
cool
to
now.
the throat.
He's cool now.
Oh, because OJ died?
Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Good defense!
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
That's no shot! Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting a NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, ay. Let's have a little fun now. Ay. I wanna let it all out. Ay. That's what's it all about. Ay. Ay. 'Cause I deserve this feeling, I have it my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. One day closer to Friday. And every once in a while, you watch a game that you will truly remember for the rest of your life. And we have had some absolute bangers this NBA postseason, but I can truly say that it was an all-timer last night watching the Pacers come back to beat the Knicks in overtime. I kept mumbling all night long, like, oh my God, that was the most insane thing I've ever watched in my entire life. Oh my God, that was the craziest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my God, that was one of the funniest games I've ever seen. You know how I approach sports where I don't have a team involved. I am always rooting for the funniest thing possible. And I apologize to the New York Knicks fans out there because your emotions are the absolute opposite of funny. You were in straight HE double hockey stick hell last night watching it happen. But to go from a game where truly, as a household, and I don't think my household was alone in this, when the Knicks go up 14 with like 2:50 left in the game, they were up 17 in the fourth quarter, you start thinking to yourself, oh, maybe we can turn this off. Maybe we can stop paying attention. Maybe we can do something else tonight. We'll come back. It's Madison Square Garden. Timothée Chalamet, Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, all the celebrities are going to be happy. You had a situation where Jalen Brunson gets in foul trouble, and you're like, oh, maybe this is going to be a problem for the Knicks. And instead, the Knicks go on a 14-0 run with him on the bench. And you're like, well, we're just going to have to move on to game 2. I wonder what the takeaways are going to be. Wonder what we're going to look at. And instead, you are met with one of the craziest comebacks that we have ever seen, because before last night, NBA teams that were down 14 or more points with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in a game over the last 27 postseasons were 0-970. 0-970. And now they are 1-970 after Aaron Nesmith hit 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. 3 of his 8 threes last night came in the final minute of regulation. The Knicks would fumble and bumble and turn it over, and then it was like, oh, whoopsie-doo, there's another Aaron Nesmith 3. And even with the Knicks holding a 9-point lead with under a minute to play, the next thing you know, OG Anunoby is at the line, and he goes 1 of 1 And of course he misses one. And the Knicks lead is down to 2. And the Pacers have the ball down 2. And Tyrese Halliburton is on the run with seconds ticking. And he gets past Bridges, but then he sees Robinson there. And he goes, I'm going for the kill shot. And that ball was as high as the Chrysler Building before it dropped down. And for the moment, as he puts his hands to his neck and delivers one of the most iconic images that we have seen in sports, then we realize it's a 2. And I am just cackling at this point because you are thinking this game is going to overtime. Did Tyrese Halliburton waste the choke, the Reggie Miller choke, with Reggie Miller on the call, staring out like a proud parent watching it done again after he had 8 points in 9 seconds, and now you have this Pacers team coming back in the fashion that they did, and you're like, oh my God, what if they lose in overtime? What if Tyrese Halliburton does this, and then they lose in overtime, and then the Knicks score the first 4 points of overtime, and I'm like, oh my God, what if this actually happens? But never fear. Never a doubt for this Pacers team. This Pacers team, CJ, cannot lose in games like this because I don't know. It's inexplicable.
We got into, you weren't here. If you thought I was yelling pastimes, I had the Office Space rocking last week.
I love when you have the Office Space rocking.
It was Darnell. It was Luke. It was Devin. I think Derek was there. Darby was over there, right? And we were bickering because like, oh, that's impressive. The Pacers had done one of the comebacks over the Cavs, right? Like, oh, that's impressive. They came back down 7 and blah, blah, blah points, and you can't say we were talking about injuries and got all into that. And I said then, and I'm going to bring it here because I'm going to say it here. Whoever was in that Office Space that day, what were they up in the final seconds? The Knicks. Were they up 8?
Last night? 9 in the last minute.
Up 9?
9.
1 minute to go.
Yes.
You pick all of us up. No training. No training at all. No time to condition. Whatever state we're in, that's the state of conditioning we're in. You pick us up. You drop us in Madison Square Garden. You give us the Knicks uniforms. We'll high-five Spike Lee on our way out there. 1 minute, up 9. We are not losing that damn game. We're not. This is not something that should be a ridiculous take, a ridiculous thought, a hot take. I should be able to grab 6 random adults, drop them in that situation, up 9, less than a minute left, and say, okay, you guys can't blow this. Here you go. And we proceed to not blow it.
Yeah, but you're leaving out a really important factor.
What?
You're playing against the Indiana Pacers, who, when down 7 or more points in the last minute of a game, transform into absolute world beaters. Like, literally, we have not seen a team like this since 1996. Teams that have trailed by 7+ in the final 50 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime in the playoffs are 4 and 1,702. 4 and 1,702. And this iteration of the Indiana Pacers have 3 of those 4 wins. That is insane. My friend Alex, who was on the show earlier this week and doesn't follow the NBA particularly close, asked me, like, what's the main storyline going into game 1? And I was like, well, there's quite a bit, and Eastern Conference Finals being back in Madison Square Garden. But ultimately, for me, I'm looking at this Pacers team. Can they run the Knicks out of the building, essentially? Because the Pacers feel fresh and have fresher legs, and the Knicks are barely holding it together, and Jalen Brunson's ankle is requiring like a special voodoo doll on Twitter holding him, and they've been playing all these minutes, and just how will that function in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals? That is not what the storyline should have been. The storyline should have been, is there actual voodoo working on behalf of the Indiana Pacers? Because it is the only way to explain. And of course, it's not the only way to explain. And you and I were talking before the show. Last week, after the Pacers knocked out the Cavs, you asked me, you whispered, are the Pacers good? And sometimes, we often say as a cliche, it is better to be lucky than good. But in the case of competitive sports, you have to be both. And the Pacers appear to be both, but also appear to have some sort of significant force working in their favor in these situations. Maybe it was the ghost of Jim Irsay, R.I.P., who passed away yesterday, and his final tweet before he passed was "Go Pacers." So maybe that was the extra, but how does that account for the other 2 times they've done it this postseason? It's wild to watch, but I do believe, all things considered, and their other 2 comebacks in similar nature from this postseason aside, last night's will never be forgotten because we saw the Knicks look like the Knicks that we are used to the Knicks being. Like, we have phrasing in this world: chargering, cougering, Clemsoning, and Knicksing. And that happened last night. Knicks-ing. Got nervous. Just trying to make sure we put the emphasis on the right syllables.
Listen, man, it's great to see these types of wins because these are the types of things that people will talk about in the future, right? There'll be whatever version of a 30 for 30 is, and we'll call it Miracle Run or give it some corny name like that, and it will highlight the Pacers' run through the playoffs, assuming it culminates with a championship, right? It will
even if it doesn't.
It will highlight the Pacers having 3 of these types of wins, down 7, 8, 9 points with less than a minute left, and everything that went into winning those games. I just can't help myself but think and wonder how you could be getting so much money and you can't just catch a basketball if you're old boy for the Bucks, or you just refuse to box out if you're one of the Cavs that's on the court and refuse to get the rebound. Or in this case, with the Knicks, you just let everything go wrong. You
can't inbound it.
Get the ball inbounds. Get the ball inbounds and hold it. Again, give me any 4 grown-ups. Jessica, you want in on this? Me, you, Jacob, and give us 2 more. I'll be the inbounder. I can get it to you. You just come running as fast as you can that away. I'll fake it to you, get it to Jacob. I'll step and bound. He can throw it back to me. I'll just hurl the ball down the court. What are we talking about? They're going to have to foul us. We'll make our free throws, or at least one of them, and then we'll just play a little defense, make them waste a little clock. It can't be this hard.
I'm a woman, so I don't have that gene that men have where they just come out and are like, I could do that.
Jessica,
there's no way that I couldn't do that. Yeah, I understand.
What would you? Okay,
but I
stop.
also have respect for professional athletes.
Wait. Not when they're doing stuff like this.
I grew up watching that NCAA commercial that all these athletes, however many the number, and only one will go pro.
What would the lead need to be for you to feel confident?
Maybe under 15, just 15. Timing,
under a
for
minute
the
left,
sake of
up 15.
Time,
you could get 4
15.
people out there, and you could win the game against the NBA competition.
Yeah, but even the thought of going to the free throw line, let's say I had to go 1 or 2 at the free throw line. I think I'd be so nervous I would poop my pants. I'm not kidding.
Jessica,
I would be so, and that's the Knicks looked just totally out of sync. They had been so. I was convinced. I started writing my notes for today's show midway through the 3rd quarter. Karl Anthony Towns is having an excellent game. Them going big with the Cat and Mitchell Robinson lineups and all of the offensive rebounds that they were able to collect, and not allowing the Pacers to get out in transition, and almost beating the Pacers at their own game and playing so fast and getting their own points in transition. And then Jalen Brunson picks up that 5th foul, and you're like, oh God. And what do you know? OG Anunoby leads that 14-0 run, and I thought I was going to be in here asking why the hell is Rick Carlisle playing so much Ben Shepherd in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but stupid me, we're not, because they get the win. And Rick Carlisle having those challenges down the stretch proved critical. Especially, the one on the Pascal Siakam foul, that getting overturned was everything. So again, it's a little bit of good, it's a little bit of luck, and it all combines to they scored 23 points in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. I know we're so caught up on the up 9, Knicks up 9 and blowing that, but do you know how much of everything has to go right? I think that was said on our couch, either me or Chris or Alex, one of us was like, for the Pacers to even be in a position. And at that point, it didn't even feel like it was possible. They can't possibly do this again. But for them to even be in the position to have a chance to win, everything had to go right. Certainly, Aaron Nesmith is not going to make another. Oh, yep, there he is. He makes another 3.
So you knew Nesmith was going to take and make threes. late.
Yes.
Okay. So
So
again,
I don't know why OG Anunoby didn't know Neesmith was going to take
in my
and make
situation,
threes.
guess who's guarding Neesmith?
Well, we're putting
you
4 on Neesmith.
You're going to be on Neesmith. Just don't let him get a shot off. Just be there. Make him dribble the ball. Make him waste some time. And then let's say he does make it, and we get the ball to you, Jessica, and you do get fouled. You're at home. You're at home. They're not booing you. They're not cheering against you. So we'll stick you in some damn Depends or some pull-ups so you can shit yourself in peace and just take and make a free throw. And even make the first one. Even if you don't make the first one and you're at the free throw line for the second one, make it or just get the ball on the rim so when they touch it, the clock starts running, and then you sprint your duty booty ass over to Neesmith and pick him up full court. Like this is not acceptable behavior. This can't keep happening.
They can't keep getting away with this. But I hope that it does keep happening to a degree, because that whole game was awesome. Like, coming out of the first half, I just was left thinking, man, I really, really hope that we get 7 games of a series as good as this first half. Like, there was a point, I think it was like midway through the second quarter, 17 players had touched the court and everyone had scored. Like, campaign. Memphis's own campaign was going on a little run for the New York Knicks. I was like, God, this is so fun. And they were letting them play. And then it shifted into, oh, here goes Jalen Brunson. And my mom's texting me about another flop. She's like, I really like Jalen Brunson, but is he a flopper too? I was like, I hate to tell you, but there is some semblance of that. And everyone's like, oh my God, can you imagine a Jalen Brunson, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander NBA Finals? The world will be in shambles over who is getting to the free throw line the most. But for the most part, I truly did think last night, obviously there's always going to be missed calls. There's always going to be one fan base that feels some sort of way. They let him play. They let him play early and they let him play late. And that's when I care about it the most, because and I can't remember who, God, there was one call where it's like, you can't call that in the last minute. But it doesn't matter, because no one cares about the calls at the end of the day. You care about the fact that you saw Tyrese Halliburton throw up the choke, and it pays off. And he was asked about it afterwards. He said he didn't plan it, but he did think that he had won the game with a 3. And if he had known, he probably would have saved it, because that's how it goes. And he probably won't do it again because he'll be accused of aura farming. Did you ever think an NBA player in their post game after a massive comeback win would use the phrase aura farming?
Lost to a dude using aura farming. And you were up 7, 8, 9 at home under a minute left.
All those rich people, all those people with all that money. Can you imagine leaving Madison Square Garden last night?
No.
I told Teresa we'd get to her at like 8:25.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you missed that message.
All right.
Because I knew. Just sad, rich, devastated. They're saying, I can't speak on behalf of, I don't know.
Tracy Morgan, have we seen him?
He was there last night.
I know he was.
Of course, everyone was there last night. They're calling it the most devastating Knicks loss of all time. And do you know how bad it has to be? There have been some devastating losses in Knicks history. But that one last night, I think coming off of all of the energy, feeling like perhaps the curse had been lifted, and you were up 17 in the fourth quarter. You were up 14 with 2 minutes left. You were up 9 with a minute left.
Now listen, up 14, 2 minutes left. I don't think we can get that win. We can't get we can't get that
That's
win.
Not on us.
That's way too much time.
Yes.
Wait, up 9 with a minute? Yeah, we can get that. We're going to get that, baby. Just hop on my back. I'll carry the team to victory. We'll be fine. You're not supposed to lose that game. You're not supposed to lose that game either of the 3 times the Pacers won those games. And it's happened 3 different times, 3 different teams.
And I want to be clear,
ways.
The Pacers won the game. Yes, the Knicks choked it away, but the Pacers won the game. Once you get to overtime, like those back-to-back buckets you get from Nembhard. We had a conversation yesterday outside of the show, you, me, and Jacob, about who's a better passer, Ja or Tyrese Halliburton, and I was staunchly on the side that Ja Morant is still a better passer than Tyrese Halliburton. That pass that I think that was the one to Nembhard was one of the most beautiful passes that I have seen in recent memory. That was a slinger of a beaut.
If we're going to do this, I didn't want to do it, but since you brought it up, who's the better closer?
No, I know. Legends get made in the postseason. It is that simple.
All
you
right.
cannot. You will always remember. Listen, There's a universe where that Tyrese Halliburton shot doesn't go. It went to the damn sky before it fell in. It is that. Ask Kevin Durant what it's like to have a toe on the line. I thought it was funny, the use of the Leonardo DiCaprio meme last night of Kevin Durant watching that game being like, I've seen that.
You could have done the same thing with Kawhi.
And same thing with Kawhi.
Because of the bounce.
He did the Kawhi and the KD in one move. But through this postseason, you have just solidified, and this is why it is so important to have long runs in the playoffs, because now you will look at Tyrese Halliburton and you'll say, God, he might say stupid stuff like aura farming after, but God, is he clutch. And Jalen Brunson might have lost that game, but he's still clutch. There's another side of this coin where the Knicks come out with a win, and you're like, God, Jalen Brunson did it again when his team needed him. What do you have, 43 last night? 43 on 25 shots? Man. But this Pacers team, they're deep. And I know we keep going back to that depth, but between Nembhard, Obi Toppin, former New York Knick, getting the dagger with the double clutch with contact.
I forgot Toppin was a former Knick.
So did Chris. I was like, oh, it's got to hurt being Obi Toppin. And Chris was like,
every time?
Why? Because it's Obi Toppin? I was like, no, because he was a Knick. Every time, man. All right, we'll take a quick break. Teresa Walker will join us on the other side. She's watched a lot of basketball. We'll get her take on what the Pacers' comeback win over the Knicks, where it stands in her all-time games watched. We'll also talk to her about the Tush Push, because it's coming back. Never a doubt. Tush Push will be back next year. The loss of Jim Irsay for the Indianapolis Colts, and some college football talk as well with Teresa when we come back.
Talk a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished third in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment, and they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
I got some Cam Ward news for you, by the way.
Let me hear it.
You talk about being able to sell some jerseys. 7 minutes ago at his introductory press conference in Nashville, Warren Moon walks in. I give you permission to wear number 1.
Oh, wow.
He hands him the number 1 jersey.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to give you permission to wear number 1. So he's going to have the number 1 Cam Ward jersey.
That's amazing.
We're rocking the Cam Ward number 1 Titans jersey.
That's amazing.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance.
But
of
you get a lot of
sticking.
stuff. You get a parade. I think you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Welcome back. It's Thursday. It's time to catch up with our favorite, Teresa Walker of the Associated Press. Teresa, where does last night's Pacers comeback over the Knicks rank in terms of crazy, wild games that you've seen through your life?
It's right up there. I mean, I was in the building there for the triple overtime game back in the early playoffs for the Grizzlies, at least the successful part of the playoffs for the Grizzlies, and that I thought was insane. But to see what happened last night, and to see the numbers, I mean, the Pacers, you know, it's just stunning that they're doing some of the things that they've done. And for the Knicks, you're up 14. And the numbers, I tweeted out a whole bunch of them last night, but it's like, let's just put it this way. That was must-see TV. I mean, it was the highest scoring conference final game or whatever, or something like that, since 1967. I mean, it's like, you get a point. You know, if you were in the building, you got to take home a bucket, it felt like. So, and then to be up 14 with 2:45 left in regulation, and you know, it's like, I use this as a point to my husband. He'll say, "Oh, that game's over." I'm like, "It's the NBA. It is never, ever over. Don't count them out. They're too good."
It's true, and that has been a constant reminder this postseason, a lot thanks to the Indiana Pacers. But we've seen just wild comebacks across the board. So when you have one like last night where you're like, oh, this is the game I will remember from the 2025 playoffs forever. And a part of it is because it's at Madison Square Garden. You know, that plays its role in this postseason as well. And it's the Knicks. And it's like you felt as if the Knicks were finally going to grow out of what we have become accustomed to them being. And then they did it again. That said, you could have a situation where, of course, the Knicks could win this series. And you're looking back at game one, which was a fantastic night of all nights for the Indiana Pacers. And the Knicks are still the team advancing. What I took from last night is I have no idea how this series is going to go. Like, I have no actual grasp on who will end up representing the East in the NBA Finals.
Well, right now, I'm going to lean toward the Pacers just because here's this one stat. Since 96-97, teams trailing by 7 or more in the final 50 seconds of fourth quarter or overtime of the playoffs are 4 and 1,702.
Insane.
The Pacers have 3 of those wins all this year. That kind of screams destiny, doesn't it?
It screams something. Screams some sort of force is working on their behalf.
Teresa, you, me, and 3 other people.
Why am I not included anymore?
Well, because
I said I was going to poop my pants at the free throw line?
You, me, Jessica.
I can suck it up.
You, me, Jessica. We'll throw Jacob in there as well, and we'll get Michael from downstairs also. Mike got some height to him also.
He does. We need height.
Us 5 in Knicks uniform, up 9, a minute left. We win that, don't we?
Have you seen how bad I am on a court? I mean, if you give me a baseball bat so I can kneecap somebody, then maybe I've got a shot. But I'm just saying.
If you can Tanya Harding the Knicks, then sure.
The
She's
Knicks
good with
exactly.
The Pacers.
There's a reason I write about it, CJ, rather than try to play it. Okay, the Lord did not gift me in that way.
Teresa, we just need you to be in the way. Just make them change direction
CJ is
one
so
time.
certain that you just need 5 bodies on the court
That's all
who at
you
least
need.
understand, Aaron Nesmith making lots of threes. Let's make sure Aaron Nesmith doesn't take a 3.
Poopy Pants Benson is on him.
Don't ever call me that. We stopped that when I had the Miralax day, okay? My God. Teresa, speaking of.
That's a number 2 highway.
Hey, speaking of, the Tush Push is back. Hey. We thought that perhaps there was going to be a universe where the NFL would ban the Tush Push. However, the proposal to ban the play fell 2 votes short of passing yesterday. Were you surprised in that outcome?
No, and now there's two votes. So if they just swing two, then that would allow them to bring it back and push it through. But the reports are that Jason Kelsey talked about how the injuries, and they kind of did almost like a filibuster. It seems like from the reports of Jeffrey Lurie of the Eagles, and just kind of on, and it's like, come on, let's just vote and do this thing already, okay?
Yeah.
And so that's the interesting part. So I just want to see if can they come to the Titans, and because the Titans have been pretty one of those franchises. It's like, sure, we'll support the league. We're good at that. But for now, this season the tush push lives. And I mean, I think that it's almost more of an aesthetic problem for people because the play looks like a rugby play, and we're playing football, gosh darn it. And it's like, but it's so successful. It's like, I'm wondering why other teams aren't doing it more because, I mean, let's face it, most quarterbacks can run. And if you're going in behind your center and a couple big guards, why not? And the reason I think the 10 teams that voted against it, a lot of the reasons are because, they could see it going wrong. Because how many times do we see another offensive player come in and try to throw a block at the end of the run down the field or things like that? And then suddenly you could have that flag being thrown all over the field for all sorts of plays. It feels from all the reading that I did on that vote and some of the discussion, that may have been the thing that helped kill it for now, trying to end it more than anything, because they didn't want to open, the unintended consequences of more flags being thrown around the field.
The tush push remains. It is here to stay. A new era has officially begun for the Tennessee Titans, even though they already drafted Cam Ward with the #1 pick. They officially signed him yesterday to his 4-year, $48.75 million fully guaranteed rookie contract, including a $32.1 million signing bonus. The deal is done. What has been the word of Cam Ward here early? I know nationally it feels as if you've covered the NFL a lot. So is it hyperbolic to say that this is one of the least talked about #1 picks of all time? I did an exercise yesterday where I was asking people universities that have had at least 2 or more quarterbacks drafted 101, so #1 overall in the common draft era. And the school that stumped everybody was Miami. And it is Miami because Cam Ward was taken with the #1 pick in this year's draft. And people... No, they don't think of Miami as a school, period, that would have the chance to have 2. And then the Testaverde thing is difficult for some people to come up with as well. But I just think it's wild how he is not at the forefront of the NFL conversation, despite being a quarterback that was just taken #1 overall.
Oh, very much so. I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Manning Leaf draft, because even though Peyton Manning was the #1 pick and had just such a great career at Tennessee, there seemed to be more talk about Ryan Leaf that first few months until, and especially, I mean, Peyton Manning's rookie year was nothing to write home about. So that Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning, it just continued on and on with more of the focus, it felt like, on Leaf at the time back in '98. And right now, similar comparison, it wasn't 1 and 2, but more of the attention seems to be on Shedeur Sanders and literally almost anybody else in this draft. And it's been very quiet. I don't think the Titans mind because now the reports, we had players Tuesday, 4 players, and including the new left tackle Dan Moore, and he said that he's the thing that impresses him is when the quarterback can get into a huddle and reel off plays and things like that. And he said Cam Ward's doing a good job for where they're at this point of the offseason. Phase 3 starts Monday, and so far the other reviews from other veterans has been glowing. Now that said, they've only mixed in with them. This is, I think, week 2 that they've been with the veterans, so it's a small sample size for the vets. But the Titans are moving slowly. They're gearing up for the start of the season and trying to get Cam Ward ready for that. I don't think they mind him flying under the radar, because let's not forget, a year ago, Will Levis was had his commercial for the Mayo cologne or perfume or whatever it was, and I mean, he even gave us a scent, a whiff of it was off of one of those bottles, and they went quickly. But it's like, I think they're happy that Cam Ward and all the focus is on football and not, all this talk chatter. I did, however, see a link to podcast last night, and they were talking about Cam Ward, and they put him in some big company. So if he ends up playing well in his rookie year, the attention will come. And the Titans know that very, very well. Just like we were talking a week ago, those 5 late game windows, they've got a lot of games that if they play well, they could get flexed. They had, I think, 7 games last year that were decided by 8 points or less. So, Jaden Daniels took Washington to the playoffs as a rookie. If the Titans are in a similar situation, guess what? Cam Ward will get his headlines and video clips.
Ideally, Teresa, from just your perspective, what do you think the Titans, if they could make it so, what do you think they would have that quarterback situation look like at the start of the season? Would they say, hey, Cam Ward has it, let's just throw him in there and let's get this thing rolling? Or would they say, all right, we'll play Will Levis or somebody else for a couple of weeks and then go to Cam Ward?
We saw how crucial a season opener can be last year when they had a 17-point lead at Chicago against the last year's number 1 top draft pick in Caleb Williams. My gut would be, if he's ready, let's start him and go with Cam Ward. And if there's a quarterback needy team, New Orleans Saints, pick up on line 1, maybe make a move to trade for Will Levis so that you've got somebody who's at least started an NFL game on your roster at quarterback.
We will see how that plays out. A big story around the NFL yesterday, and that particularly affects the AFC South, was the passing of Colts owner Jim Irsay, who passed away at the age of 65, according to his family. He died peacefully in his sleep. We said in the first segment, Teresa, his final tweet was "Go Pacers." Good luck to the entire Pacers organization. So maybe he was on their side last night in that comeback. But how will you remember Jim Irsay and his overall reign and position with the Indianapolis Colts?
Well, let's face it, he won a Super Bowl. He got a new stadium at Lucas Oil Stadium. He did a lot of things. He was must see. You had to follow him on social media because you never knew what he was going to do. And, I say that as somebody who, I was covering a Southern Conference tournament championship in Chattanooga. I'm finished up with my story and I'm looking at social media, and Jim Irsay tweets, gonna do a Twitter contest. Be ready. The first person to answer this next question gets $500 to the charity of their choice and a signed Peyton Manning jersey. And it was a question about the movie A Few Good Men. And it's like, I'm sorry, I can quote that movie all day long. And as soon as a question came up, I just fired back the answer. And sure enough, the next morning I get a DM saying, "You won."
Wow.
Yeah, so the check was sent to the Association for Women in Sports Media, to the scholarship fund, and then when I did get the jersey by FedEx later that week, I mean, talk about paying up quickly. It came in the mail, and I sent that also to the Awesome's silent auction, also raising money for their scholarship fund. So it was like, so it's like I didn't keep any of that. But it was kind of fun. It's nice to be able to say that, and it's that's the thing. He threw that out for anybody, and he paid up quickly. It wasn't something like, we've all had bets with friends, and it's like, you remember you owe me that 20, pay up. Well, no, Jim Irsay paid his tab immediately. So respect.
Complicated person, obviously battled some demons, but there are plenty of stories like yours of people who just had really heartwarming interactions with him, or just funny interactions, and it just shows kind of like the duality of a person in these situations.
And it's sad, man. He's battled addiction, very publicly, and it's one of those things where when you find out he passed away, I know one of my first thought was like, RIP, lost one. Second thought was, I guess the years of the drug usage may have caught up to him in some sort of way. They hadn't said anything about how he passed, but like 65 is young.
Yeah.
Like that's real young for somebody to pass away. And it just reminds you that people are, no matter how wealthy they are, no matter what they have access to, people are out here fighting their battles and fighting their demons. And if you get a chance to be nice and kind, you should do so at every opportunity that you have. Do something like get in a car with a stranger and help them find their way to rendezvous.
Teresa, would you ever get in a car with a stranger? Because yesterday CJ did just that, and I am incredulous about it. And he helped direct them to Rendezvous, which is a difficult place to find if you were in Memphis. It's in the alley, and people will often, I remember when I moved here, they're like, oh, just go to the alley. And I'm like, what alley are we? They were like interconnecting alleys back there. But CJ just hopped in this woman's car and directed her to Rendezvous. Would you ever hop in a stranger's car to help give them directions to a restaurant?
No, but
Thank
let's
you.
look at it this way. You and I are both females, and it's been drummed into our head, do not get into a car with a stranger
You
because
will be murdered.
we could be. Exactly. CJ is a tall man.
Yeah, I know.
And you're a big man, dude. So it's like
I'm a man, I'm
you
40.
walk the street. Yeah. You walk the streets, men walk the streets with a different outlook than women. We're always constantly
the truth?
looking at yes, we're looking over our shoulder, who's walking near us. We're clocking everybody because we don't know where the threats could be coming from. And no, we're not getting in a car. If somebody pulls up, okay, go down 2 blocks, go over here. It's across from the Peabody, and it's hidden down an alley. You gotta look for it.
No, if
Good
somebody
luck,
pulls up, I'm
Godspeed.
like,
Use
la,
your
la,
pace.
la, I have my headphones in, I don't hear you. That's not true. Anytime someone stops and asks me for directions, I help them.
How
But usually
close
not
do
in
you
a
get to
car,
the
not in a
car?
car.
Okay.
I'm like talking about people who
On
stop
foot?
me. Oh, yeah, you stop me on a walk, I will go to heaven and earth to try to make sure you get to the place, especially if you're a tourist. I'm like, I want you to have a great time. I don't want you to get lost. I don't want you to end up in the wrong spot. Let me help you out. But
Know
not
what
in
she
a
said?
car.
Know what she said as I
What?
get into the car?
People are so nice here.
She said, I can judge. I'm pretty good about judging people, and you got good vibes.
God.
Well, CJ, you do have great vibes, and you are an awesome. You are an awesome man. That said, we're not even getting up close to the car. We'll shout from about 10 feet back. Do this. We're not getting close to that car. So,
No, because I'm assuming there's someone in the back seat of the car who's going to jump out, tie my wrists together, throw me in the trunk, and then I'm going to have to try to kick out the trunk, which I've seen in enough documentaries that I know that's my best chance, because if I get to the second location, I'm probably dead. Never go to the second location. Teresa, before we let you go, I did want to ask you one question, because the story that came out this week, the 4 power conferences have drafted this contract that would bind schools to new enforcement rules and require them to waive the right to sue over decisions. This is all as we await the final ruling of the House settlement and how that is going to ultimately change revenue sharing in college sports. And it feels like this is an attempt to police in some way what that revenue sharing could look like. And Yahoo Sports reported that the punishment could go as far as a school getting evicted from a conference, which sounds incredibly severe. Is there any world where you think these conferences, or these schools, I should say, would sign off on having the chance to be, 1, evicted from a conference, or 2, just this idea of revenue capping certain athletes depending on how this all plays out?
It makes no sense, because the presidents, ADs who would have to sign these documents are appointed by who? Usually the governors of each state. And Tennessee, this law was passed so quietly, I didn't notice it until the Knoxville News Sentinel wrote about it a week ago. So it's this concept. It's like, the biggest thing about that story in the final paragraph, it just seems like they're passing all the problems from the NCAA onto this new situation. The lawsuits aren't going to go away. They're just going to open up yet a new kettle of fish here, and it's going to get worse. I mean, they keep trying to click their heels and make the lawsuits go away. Maybe you should just collectively bargain with the athletes.
We seem to always go back to that. It seems so simple,
right?
And yet so difficult.
I know it. Exactly. It's like, guys, you're dancing around the biggest problem here, trying not, and they keep wanting Congress to pass a law, and it's like, seriously, how long have you been asking for that? It hasn't happened. Clean up your own mess. But the problem is, when college athletics, you have the Power 4, you have the other Division I conferences trying to hang on and stay close as possible for revenue purposes, and you've got the transfer portal. It just brought a new level of wild west here, and again, the musical chairs to this situation just keep moving. Changing the record, which is what this would be, isn't going to change how people are dancing out there in college athletics. So it's another
Dancing
attempt to
is
fix
not
things.
a crime.
No, it isn't. But it's like, I don't, it's like, no, you will do a waltz. And it's like, no, my state governor's saying we're going to do the Watusi here. I mean, it's like, seriously.
That is.
What can I say?
Have you seen Burlesque?
Yes.
I was just reflecting on when Cher is like, wagon wheel Watusi. And then Christina Aguilera throws out her best moves. Great movie, underrated film, that Burlesque was.
I have Cher's song from that movie on my phone.
Me too.
So it's a great one. But that's the thing, they keep spinning and trying to find new ways, and it's almost like everybody needs to step back. They're waiting for this lawsuit to be, the House settlement to be approved, and they're gearing up to start this new landscape July 1st. And we still don't know if the judge is going to approve it, and it doesn't touch antitrust situations. And we had a Tennessee basketball player who played 4 years at Tennessee file a lawsuit Tuesday wanting that 5th year that's being given to Diego Pavia, who started his career, at AKA a junior college. So it's like they're trying to fix things, and they've moved into a house and it's a money pit, and things keep popping up left and right, and they're trying to fix the front porch. And the bathroom's leaking. The kitchen's
They need a new HVAC. God.
I know, and there's just the bills are piling up, and they don't know where to start. But this is not gonna. Just looking at this, considering going back again, the ADs, the presidents, the chancellors who would be asked to sign off on this. Vanderbilt's a private university, so they're insulated from that state situation. But the state governor, the state board, which is usually controlled by a state's governor, they're the ones who appoint these ADs and presidents, etc. And that's their reign on this. And it's like, you think they want to get cut out? That's why they're passing these laws.
I want to sit on the porch with Teresa and sip sweet tea while she says country things to me.
Me too.
God, you trying to what was the record thing? With the dancing, change the record.
Trying to call
changing
a waltz,
the record from
changing the record.
Yeah, from a waltz to a Watusi.
Come on, man. Like, I just want to sit there with my sweet tea and.
I haven't even had my coffee this morning.
Oh, well, Teresa, you go get yourself a cup of Joe, and we'll catch up with you next week. Consensual heart hands, as always. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later. That is Teresa Walker. You can find her latest up at the Associated Press. We'll take a break. We'll come back. The MVP was finally named in the NBA last night. To no surprise, it went to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We'll get into that. Game 2 between the Thunder and the Timberwolves is tonight. And then some WNBA action from last night. My Golden State Valkyries got their first ever franchise win. And the Minnesota Lynx won another one. They beat the Dallas Wings. Nafisa Collier continues to be one of the most impressive players in the early start of the season. We'll get into all of that when we come back.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, grannies, and grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. Let's go!
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
I thought Penny was smart to handle this the way he handled it. He expressed frustration with the system, the chaotic nature of it. The price hike on eggs ain't got nothing on the price hike on basketball players. The same dude who cost you $150,000 last summer is costing you $500,000 right now. I understand his sentiment, but he stopped well short of criticizing PJ Haggerty.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We're going to do our pick 6, 6 favorite Outkast songs in honor of Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Elevators is the most creative.
Me and you.
Yes. Your mama and your cousin too.
Every time I hear somebody say me and you, I
just go to the next one, right?
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 between the Thunder and the Timberwolves is tonight in the Western Conference Finals. Last night, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was finally named MVP. It took 87 years, but we finally found out it really is SGA. He received 71 out of the 100 first-place votes. Nikola Jokic received all other 29 votes to finish in second place, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander becomes the 3rd MVP in Oklahoma City history, joining Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. He is also the 8th player this century to win MVP and the scoring title in the same season. CJ, can you name the most recent player who was also named MVP and had the scoring title in the same season?
MVP and scoring title.
Yep.
He's only the 2nd one?
He's the 8th this century.
8th
there have
this
only been
century.
8 this century.
So we're saying since 2000.
Since the millennium.
Okay.
Since Y2K
millennium.
didn't wipe us out.
Steph did it. James Harden did it. That's 2. Did LeBron do it? I'm going to say LeBron did it. I'm also going, there's been 8 different ones. I'm going to say Kobe did it. I will say, so that's 4. I need 4 more. Gosh. Kevin Durant did it. That's 5. I will say, did Giannis do it? Giannis did it. 6. Shaq did it. 7. Joker 8.
The most recent was Joel Embiid. Was the answer to the question.
You said most recent? I thought you wanted me to name all 8.
But you named 8. I don't have a list, so we're just going to take your word as fact.
All right, that's
wow,
fine.
CJ, that was incredible.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
So Joel Embiid did it 2017.
Joel Embiid did it. Joel Embiid is also, this was one of my trivia questions on Vernon yesterday, of the 8 MVPs who have never won a title or are still in the process of competing without having won a title. Russell Westbrook is one of those. Embiid is one of those. We'll see if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander now goes on to win an NBA championship or falls into the category of, God, he was great, but that team never did it. Because nothing is ever guaranteed in this world. But the Thunder are up 1-0 on the Minnesota Timberwolves. SGA, I'm trying to appreciate with a finer eye these days. Because I'm like, why don't I like watching this player who just won MVP, who did lead the league in scoring, who averaged 32 points and 6 assists and 5 rebounds and shot 51% from the field, and also happened to help lead a team that won 68 games in the regular season. So I'm trying to turn my tune. And a part of it came with him crying, thanking his wife, and saying that she was the first person to ever show him what love really means. That was sweet. More of that.
Aw.
It was cute.
Okay.
His mic'd up moment with his son was also cute in game 1. He bought his whole team Rolexes.
Aw.
I love a Rolly.
Rolly.
Rolly. Roly-poly-oly. They should do a Rolex Roly-poly-oly collab.
Should they?
If they're ever struggling. You know, if Rolex is ever on its way out and they're like, God, we got to bring the people back.
Roly-poly-oly.
Get the millennials. Roly-poly-oly. Do you think that the Timberwolves bounce back tonight?
No.
Do you think that the Timberwolves win a game?
No.
At this point?
No.
Because you originally took Thunder in 5.
I took Thunder in 5 out loud, but in the chat I had brooms going. I think I'm gonna pull out a broom for this.
Pull it out.
Go ahead and.
The broom.
Okay,
God, you sicko.
Golly, why are you harassing me?
I am not harassing
You are harassing me. Brooms out. Get the sweep. Brooms out.
It's feeling that kind of way.
Get them swept right on up out of here.
I know you won't care about this storyline because it's something that you despise. I really do wonder how Anthony Edwards' ankle holds up moving forward. And he is another one of those who played in the Olympics. Like I have this running theory of players who played in the Olympics were even at a greater risk of having an injury happen if their team made a late postseason run. And we saw it with Tatum and we saw it with Steph Curry. And we've seen it with Anthony Edwards.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Yes.
Did SGA play in the Olympics?
He did.
Okay.
No, I know.
All
It's true. Did Tyrese Halliburton? Well, he didn't play in the Olympics, but he was certainly there on the bench.
He was there.
Participating.
Technically speaking,
he
Tatum
was
didn't
having
play
the best time in the
either.
world.
He was also
Technically
there.
speaking, you are
Like, what are you
correct.
talking about?
You are absolutely correct on that. No, I think it's fascinating. Even just watching the Pacers play last night, I had that same thought because Brunson's dealing with, whatever his ankle is hindering him from. He's been awesome. So for some players, you're going to get hurt. For other players, you're going to avoid the injury. Is there any real science to it? I don't know the answer to that.
Just go out there and ball.
And I think Anthony Edwards abides by that protocol,
All right, good.
obviously. Like we've seen him from the time in the Lakers game where it looked like, oh my God, Anthony Edwards is going to have an ankle injury that keeps him out for multiple games. Is this going to impact the Timberwolves getting past the Lakers in round 1? He was back out of that locker room and ready to roll. Now he has been slower to get into series. He started the series against the Warriors particularly slow. He had a horrible first half in that one game and then came out and was guns a-blazing in the second half. And then in their game the other night, like he can be that guy, but is his version of being the best Anthony Edwards enough to slow down or enough to stop this Oklahoma City Thunder team from doing what we've seen them do time and time again, and that is just keep punching and punching and punching until they eventually force so many consecutive turnovers. And I just continuously go back to the Timberwolves not having enough ball handlers to deal with the pressure of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I am also bringing out a broom. I would love the Timberwolves to prove me wrong because I would love for the NBA finals and the conference finals to go as long as possible as we exist in this offseason. However, it has been fun to watch the WNBA season tip off as well, and so much of my attention has gone towards the conference finals, but a little WNBA action from last night that I wanted to make sure we mentioned. As I said going into the break, my Golden State Valkyries, they won a game. I wasn't sure it was going to happen this season. I just, you never know. You never know when that first franchise win is going to come.
You have the hottest takes.
Yeah, sure do.
2 games in.
Sure do.
To a damn near 40-game season.
It's a long season.
Yes, it is. The takes don't have to be so hot.
I like to keep them spicy.
You don't, though.
But the
They're
Valkyries
only
won.
spicy in this league.
The Valkyries won 76-74. It was not the most beautiful end to a basketball game, so much so that I went and I watched like the last 3 minutes, and I was going to try to clip the final minute and a half to show it. I couldn't just find it where we could easily rip it. It was going to take a lot of work. I was like, I don't need to do this. But ultimately, Kayla Thornton, who the Valkyries got in the expansion draft from the New York Liberty, she hit a big 3 with 30 seconds left. And then Veronica Burton, who they got from the Sun in the expansion draft, had 22 points, and she had some big moments down the stretch. But I did find out something last night, that the Valkyries call their home court Valhalla, like Valhalla. And I just keep loving this team even more. They've also sold out their first 2 home games. So they have had over 18,000 people in that building, both of their home games thus far in Valhalla. And for the longest time, I thought Valhalla was heaven, but that is not what Valhalla is. Valhalla is a great hall for slain warriors. So are we saying that the opponents who come in are slain in Valhalla? Or are we saying the Valkyries are the utmost warriors and someday they will lay to rest in Valhalla?
That's the thing right there.
You think that's the thing?
That's the thing. Yeah.
So they get to just hold court in Valhalla forever and always?
Yes. Valkyries are...
Are Valkyries Nordic?
Yes.
Okay.
They kick it with Thorn now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks for knowing your Nordic mythology.
Only because of the Marvel stuff.
The other game that I wanted to make sure we mentioned was the Lynx win over the Wings, 84-81 the final. Wings are now 0-3. The Lynx are 3-0. Takeaway for the Wings, they're improving. Like, this is what happens. This is why you don't have the spiciest of hot takes early in the season, because guess what? Growth happens. A team is able to gel when you have someone like Paige Bueckers, as we discussed earlier this week. You can watch that growth happen in real time. And last night's game was the best they've looked. They played These two teams played 6 days ago, and the Lynx won by 15, and for it to be a 4-point game or a 3-point game ultimately last night, and just the Wings not having enough shot making down the stretch, enough chemistry down the stretch to make it happen. It did not help that they were going up against the Napheesa Collier, who has been unreal to start this year. 28 points and 8 rebounds last night. She was 8 of 13 from the field, 12 of 12 from the free throw line. They needed every single one of them in last night's game. She is shooting 100% from the free throw line this season. She's shooting 50% from the field, 44% from three, averaging 28 points per game. She's incredible.
Yeah, she was great before the pregnancy, and then after the pregnancy, the W players talk about it all the time, right? We talk about in the NBA, somewhere around like 25, 26, you get your grown man strength, you get your grown man weight.
Mm-hmm.
That happens in the W also, grown woman stuff. But after you had a kid, you get mommy strength, and so she came back from that pregnancy and has just been on a tear, playing at MVP level, the past 2.5, 3 seasons. And it's great to see that she's starting off the year doing that this year as well. And why, like, if you asked me to rank these teams, I would have them second and not that far off of the Liberty for one.
Completely agree.
Like
Her and Courtney Williams together are
gosh.
incredible. And even seeing both of them too, like the consistency coming off of Unrivaled has been huge for players like Napheesa Collier, who is one of the founders of Unrivaled, her and Brianna Stewart. And just seeing her emergence as, for so long, there have been like the biggest faces of the WNBA. Asia Wilson right now is one of them, and you see I've seen so many A1s at the various WNBA games that you see, which is really cool. But she's held a place with it. Brianna Stewart has held a place with it. Sabrina Ionescu, because she has a signature shoe and always the connection to Kobe and the style of play. And then obviously this rookie class of Caitlin Clark, or last year's rookie class of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and now a Paige Bueckers. But like Napheesa Collier's right in there. And the Lynx are doing a really cool partnership with Bon Iver, the band. They are the first ever women's professional sports team to have a partnership with a Grammy Award-winning musician or artist. This just broke either yesterday or the day before, and it's all about like some gender equity project between the two of them. But I just see her star continuing to rise, and if she does put together an MVP season, as the W as a whole is rising, I think Napheesa Collier has a lot of potential to be one of the big. She already is for those who follow basketball, but like if you're walking around, for those who don't follow the WNBA as closely, I'm not sure as many people have familiarity with Napheesa Collier, but they should, and I think they will as this continues. Like that's the part of these new fans who come through, like those are the kind of players that I'm excited for everybody to understand just how talented they are.
If you can convince them to stay and watch.
Right.
Like that's now on the W. And I'm be honest, I don't think they've done near a good enough job of marketing and promoting and pushing these players out there so that people who are here just for Caitlin Clark also know about other WNBA players that are great, that are interesting, that have compelling stories, and that fans will genuinely fall in love with if you can get them to stay. If you can get them to do more than just click on the clickbaity Caitlin Clark stuff. You can get them to do more than pontificate on social media platforms about Caitlin Clark this and what this means when she does that, right? Like if you can get them to do more than that, they'll come to this league and realize, oh, there are other players, and these players are really, really fun also. Now, how the W goes about doing that, I'm not sure they don't pay me the big bucks. Also, the Joker told me If you're good at something, don't do it for free. So if the W wants to cut your boy a check, I'll give them some ideas. But they've got to do that in order to continue to have the game grow.
Yeah.
You do. You can't continuously lean on the Caitlin Clark effect. Otherwise, people just tune in for Caitlin Clark, and then that's it. And Bob, that's great, and that's all well and good, and that'll do more for you than anything else has ever done for you in league history. If you wanted this growth to be sustained, and if you want to maximize this growth potential, you got to get people interested in the Nafisha Colliers, the Courtney Williams. You got to get them to continue to be interested in Asia Wilson. You've got to find ways to market stars or continue to market stars and market them better, like Breonna Stewart and Jonquel Jones.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way to get people to care about more than just Caitlin Clark.
And Paige Bueckers has had a significant audience in her immediacy as a rookie, and the Wings on the losing side of that game last night. But I saw the Wings' first game of the season, so Paige Bueckers' debut was, I think, the second highest rated first game for a player outside of Caitlin Clark. And I do think sometimes you do have to put that caveat because those numbers are just so egregiously different than anything else that we've ever seen. But Paige had her first double-double last night, and she had 12 points, 10 assists, 3 steals. She is the fastest rookie to reach a points assist double-double in the last decade. So it took her 3 games. She's the first to do it in the last decade. The last to do it was Shoni Schimmel in 2014. And before that, it was Susie McConnell-Serio in 1998. So for Paige to do it in her home state, she's from Minnesota. They welcomed her back. It was a cool scene to see. And again, just the growth. Arike Gumbawale, she had a big game. She had 21 points on 20 shots last night. It's just the continued chemistry between those two and understanding like how, again, I continue to go back. The sooner the Wings run their offense more through Paige Bueckers, the better they will be. But I would assume that's part of a long-term growth plan, as you also have a player who is getting more accustomed to what WNBA basketball is. Like, Paige looks comfortable, but you know how it is. We saw this with Caitlin Clark last year. We saw this with Angel Reese last year. Like, there is a growth period of adjusting between being a college player and being a professional player. It's just a matter of fact. So the Wings will get their first win eventually. It did not happen last night, but they are playing better. My Valkyries, though, big win for them.
Look how happy you are.
Big for them.
I'm
proud of them.
You were so angry before the season even
Put your
started.
V's up, baby.
Is that
Put
what
your
they
V's
do?
up. That's what I do.
No, we're not
Put your
doing
V's
that.
up.
We're
They
not
put it on the
doing
Jumbotron at a game.
What?
Put your V's up.
Okay, so that's what they do.
Yeah, but I don't know if it caught on. I don't know if it was like one of those things that passed marketing and nobody realized what it sounded like, or if they're going to lean into it. Valhalla, put your V's up. Just go with it.
So V is this, not this?
I don't know. Good question. Because this is like very fight on, because then I can just go my USC fandom into my Valkyries. Like, it's just the space between those two fingers.
Yeah, we don't need fingers here. Put your whole arms up. Put your V's up.
Put your legs up.
V it up. Oh, legs up.
Go all the way up. No, we're taking a break. We will come back. We will do some Theater Thursday, some movie news from this week before we get into it. We are getting more and more. God bless it.
What?
Just take a break. Just take a break.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Welcome back. CJ, I have a question for you.
What?
You've been really into the Rizzler in the last 24
Into him?
hours.
Just confused?
Just confused by the
Just
Rizzler.
confused.
Where have you been? I had to have my come to Jesus with the Rizzler like 6 months ago.
I think I'm refusing to come to Jesus with that.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it to fall apart. Like I think Baby Gronk. I have nothing
different.
I
Completely different.
I have to assume that Baby Gronk has fallen apart, and that's a thing that we'll all think about fondly, but is not still continuing. I was hopeful that the Rizzler would face the same fate, and no, the Rizzler's still out
He's
here.
been around since
getting his
2023
Rizz
at
on.
this point. Like the second he started making appearances on late night shows,
I
knew the Rizzler was
I
here
missed
to stay.
all of that. I didn't
and
know
I
he
had
was on late
totally,
night shows.
I hadn't paid attention to the Rizzler. And then Chris was like, everybody knows the Rizzler. And I said, God, I can't have my husband being more in tune with what the kids are into these days than I am. You know how he like first went viral, right?
No.
Do you want to know?
No.
Okay, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Boo.
He went viral wearing a Black Panther Halloween costume.
Turn up.
And he's known for the Riz face, which is squinting his eyes, raising one eyebrow, lowering the other, and pursing his lips, an expression often referred to as mewing. He's just mewing.
Okay.
I think that's a drag expression. I think you mew. I don't know. I don't want to. That's what I always knew it as. Like you're rizzing, you're mewing. Anyway, get used to it. The Rizzler is going nowhere.
He'd go away.
Well, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. You want to know what else is not going anywhere?
This Grizzlies Sonic Mailbag Question of the Week.
You're correct,
All
CJ.
right. Good.
It is the Grizzlies Sonic
Yeah.
Mailbag Question of the Week that I'm now seeing you put in the Slack at 7:11 a.m. when I absolutely go back to the Slack before we start the show. Sonic Mailbag Question of the Week. What moves need to be made this offseason so we can be better next year in the playoffs? We used to at least make it to the second round, but we've gone backwards somehow to now being swept out of the first round and even have to go to the play-ins. The dreaded play-ins for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Shout out to Reginald Williams.
Thank you, Reginald Williams, for your question. I do think it is the most common question in the Grizzlies universe this time of year, and trying to figure out how you are not having FOMO of the NBA postseason, which I did have. Like, it continuously hits me. Watching Pacers Knicks last night, I was like, God, I wish this was my team. God, I wish the Memphis Grizzlies were still in an opportunity to have a game as good as this one. Even if, I asked myself last night, if you were on the losing end, if you were the Knicks last night, would you rather have that? Or would you rather be sitting at home for the last 3 weeks? I would rather have that. If it all led to that kind of a loss, it's better than the alternative for the Grizzlies. What has been the number one thing for you watching how the playoffs have gone, where you're thinking this is what not just the Grizzlies, but any team in the West needs to primarily focus on if they want to be a team that competes with the likes of a Thunder that looks very built to compete like this for the next few years?
I think valuing the basketball, getting a guard in there that can facilitate the offense and cut down on turnovers is not lost on me. Plus minus is a stat that is what it is, right? You can make it say whatever you want it to say. I will say, though, it's not lost on me that the Timberwolves looked a touch better with Mike Conley on the court than with him off of the court. Mike Conley was plus in that game in 20 minutes. I think he was like +5 in 20 minutes. And it was because Mike Conley's not turning the ball over. Mike Conley's not going to give you the bone-hitted dribble off my foot because I'm trying to do too much turnover. So I think that if you want to compete in this Western Conference right now, I think it starts with, hey, do you got somebody who can run your offense and take care of the ball? And then figure it out from there. If you've got a guard, a point guard who is going to be a primary scorer, I think the Spurs have some of this with De'Aaron Fox, right? If you got him that's going to be a primary scorer, you've got to have somebody on that roster who can alleviate some of the ball handling from him so that he's not running around here trying to do too much, turning the ball over unnecessarily. That's the thing that stands out to me. Also, getting a big who can be on the perimeter and move side to side and do, at the very least, be able to hedge and recover quickly. That's the second thing. So those two things stand out to me.
I think you have it in Ja. I do think the more ball handlers, the better. The more people who can create for themselves and others.
You have what in Ja?
I am on team Ja Morant as your starting point guard, and I still believe my biggest issue with Ja Morant is availability. It is not his ability on the court. It is being on the court and avoiding injuries, taking him out of a position where you are able to be reminded of what he can be both as a scorer and a facilitator. It was not that long ago, and I know we already mentioned this earlier in the show, but Ja Morant's passing was incredibly underrated in the league. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that as of today, right now, both from a clutch standpoint and from a passing standpoint, that the likes of a Halliburton or a Jalen Brunson or even a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have not passed him by because they are in a position carrying their teams deep into the postseason. But a big part of that is Ja being available and being able to gain consistency and chemistry and flow with a team throughout a season. So then once you get to the playoffs, it is not just give Ja the ball and everybody stand back and watch. When the team operated at its best, it was when he was almost facilitator first, scoring option second. Now, another piece of that is more consistent scoring options around him. Like, it is the evergreen statement. You have to get a lengthy three-point shooting, positive, not just a positive defender, but like a true pesk of a defender who gets up in there and ultimately disrupts the other team's best players. You have to have that player who is willing to take on the best player on the opposing team. And I know we gave Jalen Wells infinite credit this season, as he should, because as a rookie, he was never supposed to be as a second-round pick rookie, a 37th pick rookie, he was never supposed to be in a position to take the toughest assignment each and every night. You need a player who is ready now to take that. And then you throw the back end of it. Obviously, the front court situation with a continuously towering Western Conference and all of the size you're going to have to deal with. Can Jaren Jackson Jr., can Zach Edey grow rapidly? Or I would much rather have a situation where that is not a necessity next season, and you add, I know this is a lot. This is asking for a lot. But you get a veteran standard center who Edey can play behind, but who also allows Jaren Jackson Jr. to operate not as the 5, but as a 4 where he's most comfortable.
If we're doing just the Grizzlies, you need dudes who can do it now.
Yes, that's the whole
right now.
You need youth, but you need them to do it now.
You need youth. You
I mean, in terms
now.
of being a long-term contending team in the new CBA-led NBA. But if we're talking about just next year,
the core group isn't old.
Exactly. But they're not young either at this point. We have to stop talking about them like they're babies.
No.
They are here. They are vets.
You don't need to talk about them, and I'm with you with the thought, okay, we got to get a vet in here to help guide them. No, they are vets right now, but they're not 30, 32, 33. No. They're young enough for this. You put the right pieces around them this thing can be successful going forward for a number of years, much the same way that the Thunder are able to be successful from what it looks like for a number of years. You've got people who fans and I think others in the organization would say, oh, we've got that in this person now. We just have to wait for it to cook. We've got another ball handler in Scottie Pippen Jr. Now. We need to wait for it to cook. We've got a 3-and-D wing now in Jalen Wells. We just need to wait
in the incubator.
A minute for it to finish,
Right.
and then we can take it out the oven, let it cool, and then we can serve it up to you guys real nice. The Grizzlies either need to move with more urgency or tell people, hey,
it's not right now.
It's not right now.
Yeah.
It's not right now. That's for the Grizzlies question. You asked me about to compete in the Western Conference for anybody. For the Grizzlies, that's what they need the dudes ready to go now.
Yes.
You need the 3-and-D now. You need the ball handler now. You don't have, if the window is now, you don't have time to wait for guys to grow and develop into that role. And that'll be the tough thing for the front office to do. How do you juggle that? How do you balance going for it now while also growing and developing the pieces that you have? Because I think they think, and I won't make any arguments to the contrary, that they've got quality young pieces right now.
You've gotten trapped in the quality young pieces development plan for the last few years. And you can only roll with that if you are genuinely trying to compete for a championship.
If you're genuinely trying to compete for a championship, you can't sell me hope. You have to show me urgency.
Yes.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah. All right. A little Theater Thursday news before we get into the rest of our Thursday. They continue to release casting for the upcoming Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, and many have pointed out that they've absolutely killed the casting so far, and they did it again yesterday with Kieran Culkin cast as Caesar Flickerman in the Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping. That is a role that was played by Stanley Tucci in the original. This is like the newscaster who is in the Capitol and has a flair for the dramatics, we shall say. But I love this casting. I love every casting that has come out thus far for Hunger Games
excited for
Sunrise.
this?
I am. And I didn't see the last one, the one with Rachel Zegler, the prequel. And I think this is the pre-prequel.
Oh, is that what this is?
If I'm understanding of it correctly, like all these characters when they are particularly young.
Okay.
So the 2023 movie, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which told the story
Katniss
of
Snow.
President Snow.
No,
that was
that's
the
not
backstory of
Okay.
President Snow. Yeah, Katniss is the original.
Yeah. All right, so we're done with the original.
We're done
These
with
are
the
all
original.
prequels. Okay, I follow.
This one takes place 24 years before the events of the original's 50th Hunger Games, which was the second quarter quell,
Okay.
which is the book of the same name, The Hunger Games.
Gotcha.
So this one is 24 years before the original. So all these characters that you meet, from like Woody Harrelson, who played Haymitch, Abernathy, Plutarch Heavensby, who was played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, R.I.P. He's now going to be played by Jesse Plemons, which is another one of those like crushing of the castings. BT, I don't ever know how to pronounce his last name, but BT, who was played by Jeffrey Wright, is now being played by Kelvin Harrison Jr. Maya Hawke is playing Wyrus, who was played by Amanda Plummer. Like, it's just a telling of how those characters got there.
Got you.
And it's enough to bring me back into it.
Got you.
I haven't rewatched The Hunger Games in a long time. I think I rewatched it during the pandemic. And I've thought about rereading it if I wanted to go
Those
back.
are thick books.
They're not that thick. I've read thicker.
Listen, man, you like them thick. That's
do.
on you.
I do. Are you interested in The Hunger Games at all?
Not at
I thought when you sent this that
No,
you were
I
interested
sent
in
it because I thought you would be interested.
I am.
Yeah, that's why I sent it. You like Kieran Culkin?
I do like
I
Kieran
do believe
Culkin.
you like him.
I do.
He's a capital T thespian. I do
Yeah,
believe.
he was in Succession. He always plays himself,
Okay.
but yeah.
All right. Well, he's not a capital T then. Never mind.
I just saw a video of, no, he is. He's on Broadway right now.
Okay,
and
so
somebody
that's what
like
I thought. I
stage
thought he
doored
was
with
a
Kieran
capital T.
Culkin, and they came up to him and they were like, "Oh, I took a which character in Succession quiz are you?" And I got Roman, and he just looked at them and he's like, "We still do those?" And he's like, "Oh, so you're an asshole." I was like, "Wow."
When you say what did they do?
They stage doored.
What's that mean?
It's when you hang around at the stage door that the actors come out of after they're in a show.
Okay.
And stage dooring has grown into this like very disturbing practice where fans of these big name actors won't even go to the show. They will just stand at the stage door for hours so that they get a front row opportunity to try to like meet this actor. It really is the best opportunity you have of meeting a famous person.
So do you have to buy a ticket to get in?
No, it's outside. It's like in the alley. And so like when I was a kid, I remember actors weren't guaranteed to stop. So you would like stage door and maybe they would come out or they would just go straight to their limo.
Yeah.
And like one time I was waiting outside for a show and I can't remember the show, but Jay-Z's limo went behind us and then everyone was focused on Jay-Z. And by the time everyone came back, everyone from the show had left. And I was like, oh, that's okay, whatever. But yeah, so this has become, it's kind of a scary thing now because fans are in this like stan culture and it's something that I hope finds a way to stay because it's a very cool practice and it's a very like connectivity between fans of Broadway and the actors who are in it. But I don't know how long it's going to last until someone does something absolutely psychotic. Yeah. It just feels like we're cooking for that. And especially as you get more and more, we're in a recession, or recession indicator is when more and more like high-level celebrities are on Broadway because it's the only way you can get people to pay tickets for these things. That's why Jake Gyllenhaal's on Broadway. That's why George Clooney is on Broadway right now. So that's why Nicole Scherzinger's on Broadway right now.
Isn't she
That's why
always
Miley
on
Cyrus is
Broadway?
allegedly coming to Broadway.
Wait, Miley's coming?
Not officially. It's all the rumors. Did I look for
what's she
tickets
gonna-
yesterday? Maybe.
what's she gonna be in?
She's going to be in Cabaret, according to the streets.
Okay.
She's going to make her Broadway debut. There's going to have one more. Cabaret's been back on Broadway for a little over a year now. They've had many casts. They're going to have one more. The cast that's currently in London. Do you know who Billy Porter is?
Why do I know who Billy Porter is? Billy Porter, is he black?
He is.
And he's gay, right?
Yes.
Then I
And
know
he
exactly
does
who he is. I know why I know who he is.
drag
I know,
often.
Yes, I know who
Okay.
he is. Yeah.
He reportedly, it's going to be the first time Cabaret has two black leads. That's what's happening in the London production right now. And the rumor is that they're going to come. And then after that, Miley Cyrus is going to come.
Gotcha.
Or Sabrina Carpenter's been linked to it as well. I'd go see either. But that's how they
Wait,
get you.
Carpenter's gonna be in?
It's not, don't say it like it's fact. These are me going to, there's this guy named the Sweaty Oracle on TikTok.
Oh, I love Sweaty
And he's like a
Oracles.
Broadway insider.
Here we
And he
go.
always drops these like but he's right often. So he's been on the Miley train for a long time, saying that it's all but assured.
Miley or Sabrina.
But mostly
Carpenter.
Miley.
But mostly Miley.
Most likely Miley.
Most likely.
And
if
I
they
will
can get
spend
it.
all my money.
All of it?
We've been having a conversation in our household with the Knicks Pacers series, like what's the most you've ever spent on a ticket for something? And I'm not really a ticket spender. Like I just can't. For like one night, that's why I'm not at the Cowboy Carter tour. Well, many of my friends.
You bought the Adele
Yeah,
ticket.
to sell them for my wedding. It doesn't feel good. That was before you got the whole, because now you get taxed on that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, they passed a thing where if you resale on Ticketmaster, it has to be like the highest price it can be is the price that you bought them for. So you can't turn
Good.
profit, which is great.
Good.
Which is how it should be. But at the
Because of people
time
like
I
you,
did it,
Duty Booty
it was
Benson.
in those old days when you could. But yes, that's the most expensive ticket that I ever bought.
Okay.
I don't know what my cutoff would be for a Broadway show.
For well, let's do it right now. $250.
I've done $250 for a show.
$350.
No.
No.
I don't think
so
I could
somewhere
do
between $250 and $350.
Sure.
$300?
I think maybe that's what $289 is what I came up with in my head because Broadway prices are always weird on like the $79 or $89. So
Yeah.
$289 is what I came up with. And it won't be that. It'll be like $500. But I'll find a way. I will find a way. Okay, other movie news from the week. We're getting a Zootopia 2. Were you a fan of Zootopia 1?
I love Zootopia.
Me too. Do you need a Zootopia 2?
I don't think I need any of these emotional ass Disney movies until I sit down and watch them. It's
it.
like, oh my God, I needed that.
Zootopia wasn't very emotional, was it?
It
so
wasn't?
sorry.
It wasn't?
When did you cry in Zootopia?
When the bunny and the fox became friends, like
I mean, it was
legitimate
sweet.
friends.
I don't think, when I think of
and also,
Zootopia, I think of the great Shakira song and a wonderful messaging
you
from
don't,
Zootopia.
don't have to cry for it to be emotional. That reveal, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
when we find out it was
It's a great
the
twist.
sheep,
It's a great twist.
I was enraged.
Instead of a wolf in sheep's clothing, it's just
It's
a sheep in sheep clothing.
Come on, man. Like,
Yeah,
I was
it's
like, oh
good.
my gosh.
I think it's one of the best recent Disney movies. But I don't cry in it.
No, it does. But tears aren't the only form of emotion. It was funny. It was humorous. There was suspense.
Yes.
I had me on the edge of the seat trying to
Yes.
figure out who done it. And then the twist at the end? Yeah.
Do, 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 do. Try everything. Do, 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 do. Try everything. Maybe Shakira comes
no.
back.
Actually, when they were telling the bunny she could never be a cop.
You cried?
That last time when she went back home, I knew I cried in that damn movie. She went back home because the case had fallen apart.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, they were right. I can't be a cop. What am I? I'm just a little lonely girl bunny. And then she was like, no, I've got to go through this. The determination in that little rabbit, man, motivational. I love that movie.
A real win for women in that movie.
I mean, if that's how you take it, I just thought it was a rabbit going out there doing rabbit stuff.
You can do whatever you want.
You should probably stop talking about the messaging in that movie before your people come through and ban it. Mm-hmm.
A movie that I am guaranteed to get emotional in, the Lilo and Stitch live action movie,
Really?
which is so
Why?
good they're already talking about a sequel for it. The reviews that have come out on this movie have been very positive, and I was convinced that there would never be a Disney live action movie that I would be genuinely excited to go see in theaters. And I have found myself genuinely excited to go see Lilo and Stitch live action in theaters. I did not realize how attached I am to this movie and this story and the songs from Lilo and Stitch and the cuteness that is Stitch, and Ohana means family and family means nobody gets left behind. I'm going to go see this in theaters.
My nephew had never seen Lilo and Stitch, and so he was over with us, and we were like, okay, just so you'll stop talking for a little bit, just sit down and watch this movie with us and play. He loved it. He loved it. I was like, oh, it's been a while since I had seen it. My sister loved it as a kid, so I used to watch it all the time with her. But it had been a minute since I had seen it, and they got Stitch in the cuffs. They got my man locked up. And Stitch turns to the little boss lady and says, hey, can I say goodbye? She's like, sure. And he says goodbye, gets the hugs. And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, this is my Ohana. Ohana means family and I was like, oh my gosh, don't look over here because your boy's crying. Emotional ass Disney movies, they get you every time. Every damn time they get me.
Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
Good song.
We don't talk about it enough.
I think we talk about it enough.
I don't. I think it's one of the best. I think it's one of the. I think it's top 10. I think it's top 10. I do. I think it's top 10. I think it's better than Be Our Guest.
You think it's better than Be Our Guest?
I think it's better than Be Our Guest. I do.
Are you crazy?
I do.
Oh shit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be yelling. Are you crazy? Be Our Guest is absolute certified banger. What is wrong with you? Are you joking right now? No. Better than Be Our Guest. Better than Make a Man Out of You.
I didn't say it was better than Make a Man Out of You.
I'm just naming them. Better than A Whole New World. What are we talking about here? What are you doing?
What did
I don't know what he's saying.
He said this is worse than yelling. And I have to agree. I do want you to know, I've realized in collaboration with the chat, sometimes when I think you're yelling, you're just speaking loud. But what people don't understand is I have this little tiny earpiece that amplifies everything you say. So when you yell, when you're actually yelling, you're creating damage that will last for the rest of like I will need a hearing aid when I'm 60 and I'll say those years I worked with CJ have led me, not the years I worked with Eric Hasseltine, certainly not those, not the years that I sat in an NBA arena for 45 plus nights a year with all the sounds and the amplified speakers. No.
Zero to Hero.
You. Zero to Hero is my number one of all time, please.
Okay, well,
why are we doing this?
That's a little high.
No, Zero to Hero.
Be Prepared.
My favorite villain song. Better than Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Poor Unfortunate Souls?
Listen, I'm just telling you.
A Hawaiian roller coaster ride
We're gonna leave.
is not a top
Yes,
10
we are.
song. It's a great song, but it's not a top 10 Disney song.
We are going to
We didn't
leave
even
this
draft
show.
it. Should we draft it? Have we already drafted Disney songs?
We have, but we can do a redraft.
We can do a redraft.
It's summer. There are no rules here.
Whatever. We'll figure out what we drafted.
With Lilo and Stitch back, I've been inspired to redraft. You're going to leave. You're going to go for your little walk of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to turn on Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
Yes.
And you're going to be like, she had a point.
No, because
Yes,
it's not a top 10 Disney song all time.
I'm just saying.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Bennett Doyle took it number one in
Yeah,
the Disney
Bennett
song
made a
draft.
mistake.
No, he didn't. Why
Yes,
would you
he
ever say that
did.
about Bennett?
Bennett, great guy. He can make mistakes, can he? Is he inflammable?
I think
Or
they used
infallible?
the,
I use that
if
word
I remember
wrong.
correctly, they used the Kamehameha children's chorus, and this was, Lilo and Stitch came out around the time when we almost moved to Hawaii because my dad was going to take a job there, and I was convinced that I was going to join the Kamehameha children's chorus and sing Hawaiian Roller Coaster for the rest of my life. So there might be a personal attachment to this song. I recognize that. I recognize my bias. I'm big enough to admit that. But I still think it's a top 10 Disney song of all time.
Disney
yes.
song.
There's no place I'd rather be than on a surfboard out at sea. Da-na-na in the ocean blue. And if I had one wish come true, I'd surf till the sun sets beyond the horizon.
Hey, is that an appropriation?
Hali-wiki,
Can I
my
do that?
lohi-lohi. What?
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So
We're appreciating.
We're
We're hoolaying. Well, I don't know. As a white person, I'm not going to speak for anything that you can do with the Hawaiian
All
culture.
right, I'll stop. I don't want to make the big Samoans mad.
you.
They're huge.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a Friday. I cannot wait. We will know how Game 2 between the Thunder and the Timberwolves goes. We will know the All-NBA defensive team, which is going to be named tonight. The All-NBA teams will be named tomorrow, so we will finally know the fate of Jaren Jackson Jr. as it pertains to that. We'll see you then. We'll wrap up our week. Have a good one. Bye!
Jaren on the all-defensive team?